Hey guys, Ronnie and Anna here from Cold Blood Creations.
And today is our first video of 2021, so we decided to open it up with a reptile Q&A.
And we're going to take the questions you've sent us over Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and we're going to give an answer to some of those today.
Alright, first question is, can superworm beetles harm a bearded dragon?
Can superworm beetles harm a bearded dragon? Well, to be totally honest with you, I would suspect that in the wild, being opportunistic feeders, bearded dragons are going to grab and eat anything that they can get in their mouth. And if they come across a beetle in the wild, I suspect that it's going to be on the menu. However, I never have fed beetles from superworms or mealworms to a bearded dragon, and I probably wouldn't recommend it. I really can't see where there would be any value to feeding the beetles over feeding the superworms, which would be much easier for your dragon to digest.
What is your favorite reptile species?
I feel like we get this question a lot,
Yeah,
and I never answer it because there's more than one answer.
Yeah, it's really hard to narrow it down to one species would be, I think, probably next to impossible. I mean, we work with so many different species of reptiles here. I don't know, that's really tough. What do you, I mean, all right, if you had to choose the one species of reptile to work with, what do you think it would be?
Oh man, I don't know, you go first.
I think I would just be making something up to honestly answer that question. So my answer...
What are a few of your favorites?
A few of my favorites would be snakes, lizards, turtles, and tortoises. That's about the best I can do.
We'll go with that.
What are the best fruits to feed bearded dragons?
Okay, so I feed my bearded dragons, when I feed them fruit, usually blueberries and strawberries are the main fruits that I feed them. Sometimes you will notice though, your bearded dragon can be picky. So some of my dragons love blueberries, and as soon as they see them, they just eat as many as they want, and then other dragons won't even look at them. You're gonna have to learn, I guess, what your dragon prefers. But those are the main fruits that I'll feed my dragons.
But we want to mention though, keep in mind that fruits have a high sugar content. And for that reason, you don't want to make fruits a large part of your bearded dragon's diet. We give our dragons fruits only occasionally, about once a month, just as a treat. Certainly fruits do not need to make up part of the staple of your bearded dragon's diet. You're much better off feeding good, healthy, leafy vegetables like mustard greens, collard greens, dandelions. Those types of things are the better staple of the diet. And keep your fruits, like your strawberries and your blueberries and even blackberries, keep that to a bare minimum.
What got y'all interested in reptiles? I love that they said y'all.
I know, right?
That's our people right there.
I know.
What got y'all? Okay, so...
Few reasons.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Some of you are gonna find this very hard to believe, but when I was a child, I was absolutely terrified of snakes. Back when I was a kid, we used to have a show that came on television. Now, some of you guys are gonna know how old I am, but it was called The Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And it was a show kind of like The Crocodile Hunter with Steve Irwin, but much earlier on. They would show snakes on that show, and I was so absolutely terrified of snakes that if my family were sitting at the table eating supper and a snake came on the TV, I would go into nearly a panic attack. I couldn't even eat. So I guess the thing that got me into them was I was so fascinated that there existed something that could create such fear in me. And I was bound and determined that I was going to overcome that. And one of the reasons why is because my family, my parents were actually scared of snakes. My dad was one of these guys who, you know, the only good snake is a dead snake. He was scared of them because he didn't know anything about them. And as a young boy, I thought, you know, if I could overcome that, and I could get where I'm not afraid of snakes, I would be able to do something that my dad would even be impressed with. I guess it's kind of one of those things that's what really got me interested. It was a determination that I would get over that fear. And to say that I've overcame it slightly,
Yeah, I would think so. For me, it was a little bit different because I, unlike him, grew up in a family where we did have reptiles. And whenever I got home from school, I would always come out to the shop because I always wanted to be out here with him with the reptiles. I always wanted to hold the snakes and wanted to learn how to work with them. So I was just fascinated by them at a very young age. And I think that plus the fact that I have horrible allergies. I don't play with the dogs and the cats and the bunnies and those pets that most kids love the most. I never played with those that much growing up because I couldn't. I would just have an allergy attack. So the reptiles were a way for me to have pets.
And I think it's just a love of nature and a love of animals that makes you want to bring a part of God's creation in and enjoy it, inside your home. And I think that's part of why so many people enjoy animals, whether it's reptiles or fish or birds. It just allows us to bring the serenity of nature into our homes.
Do you ever get emotionally attached to any of the animals that you sell?
That we sell? No.
No?
I don't think so.
She's more cold-hearted than I am.
No. I mean, like, the reptiles that we keep, that we work with, that are not for sale. Yes, I love my reptiles. Like, I love my pets and the breeders and the animals that we keep. I love them. But the ones that we raise specifically for selling to the public, no, I don't.
Well, I'm going to be honest. That's a tough question. The animals that we sell are usually younger animals that we haven't spent a great deal of time with. Now, our bearded dragons is an exception because we don't sell them until we've had at least 8, 9, sometimes 10 or more weeks with them to get them past that delicate baby stage. But for the most part, our snakes we sell after they've had their 3rd or 4th frozen thawed meal, so you don't really have time to develop that. Speaking of attachments to reptiles, if we are fully honest, there have been some days here that have been really sad days. There's bearded dragons that over the years we've lost that we were attached to. Some of these dragons you keep for a decade, and when they pass away, it's sad. You can't be an animal lover and lose an animal
and just think nothing of it.
Yeah, and just think, oh, it's just another day at the office. To answer your question, yes, we do get emotionally attached to some of our animals. Probably not so much the ones we sell, but certainly the ones that we've kept and developed, some history with over the years.
How long have y'all been doing YouTube?
How long have we been doing
I think
YouTube?
We've had this YouTube channel for maybe 4 or 5 years, but I don't think we posted consistently until about 2 years ago.
We actually started this channel as kind of a way to just let family look into some of what we do. Actually, if you look early on, you'll see a fishing trip where we all went fishing, and we actually filmed that video for Armstrong Cricket Farm. We were telling them about the superworms and how the superworms make good fish bait. And so we filmed a video of us out fishing using the superworms for, Jeff Armstrong.
Yeah, we were telling all 12 of our subscribers about Armstrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun. I don't think we intended to have videos consistently. I don't think we kind of thought that we would continue doing it like this.
Right.
It was just something fun we did for, like fishing trips and snake hunting and
family and friend type things.
That's pretty much it. And then somehow you guys liked our videos, so we kept making them.
Probably the main thing, like I said, we did it for family and friends in the very beginning. But then as we were doing reptile shows, and people would come up to us and they would say, I'd like to buy a bearded dragon or a king snake or a ball python or whatever the case would be. But they had questions like, how do I take care of it? And so you're talking to your customer at a reptile show. You're trying to give them all of this information about how to take care of an animal. And you know that through this 20-minute conversation that you have with your customer, they're not going to remember half of what you said. So our idea was, let's start putting together some care videos so that, let's say we sold a bearded dragon, to one of our customers, and they got home and forgot what we said about how to feed it or substrate or any of those things. They could refer back to our channel and it would be like a refresher. That's actually where the care video started. We did that as a service to our customers, and then we found out that there was a lot more people out there that was interested in them, and we started making those videos. as people would request information on species that we had some experience with.
Don't watch your first video, it's terrible. that was before I was the editor around here.
Yeah.
That was back when we had like our little Canon camera.
Yep.
Yeah.
We thought we were just hot. My friends have texted me like quotes and things that I've said in our old videos, not knowing what they were talking about, so I went back and watched those videos.
Okay, you know she better not edit this out. But can you remember before Aubrey got her braces?
Oh my god!
Give them an example. How did your sister used to introduce our videos back before she got her braces?
Sorry, Aubrey. She would open the video like, "Hey guys, welcome to Coldblood Creations." So it sounded like that. I don't know. I mean, she doesn't anymore. If y'all go to our last video, look at the bloopers. I was trying to read a paper. We were gonna put my voice as like an overlay for like I think a character I put like the snob. If y'all remember, I don't know, y'all have to go back and watch the bloopers, but I did that voice. She needed braces and she had them, she got them off, like her teeth are absolutely beautiful right now. But she inherited, I think, your genes, like y'all both needed braces because y'all talked like Sylvester from Looney Tunes. But
she inherited those genes from me. Back before I had braces, I could eat corn through a picket fence. All right, next question.
She's the editor, she's gonna cut that out.
Do you have any snakes available for sale, or is it too cold to ship?
It is January right now, so it's pretty cold. We are shipping, but we're keeping in mind we're watching the temperature at our facility as well as where we're shipping. So the answer to that is it's going to depend on the temperature. We do have animals available for sale. From time to time, we will put them on our Facebook page. However, Facebook has some kind of wishy-washy policies about animals for sale. Now, even though we are a business and we are allowed to sell animals on Facebook according to their community standards, we don't put a lot of our animals on there. But what we do is we put our animals on Morph Market. And you can go on the Coldblood Creations Morph Market store and you can find a lot of what we got available. Now, the other thing, sometimes our animals are not on Morph Market. We do have them for sale. We just haven't got around to listing them yet. So if you're interested in something that's not on Morph Market, certainly you can shoot us a message over Facebook and inquire as to our availability that way as well.
Do you spray your bearded dragons with water, and if so, how often?
So yes, we do spray the babies with water. I'd say I do it about every other day. Well, for like the babies, like after they hatch, they're getting sprayed every day. As of right now, because they're a few months old, I do it about every other day. And then when they're adults, they don't even drink from the spray bottle. At least mine don't. You might experience something different. Your adult may drink from the spray bottle, but mine don't, so I don't do it to my adults. They get water through their salads because I spray their salads with water and I put it in their cage, and that's where they get their water from. We actually made I think a question of the week video for this specific subject, so if you want more information, we will link it in the description box below.
You guys often encourage people to buy from private breeders rather than pet stores. Why is that?
Well, I think the simple answer is we believe you get better quality animals. Here's the thing you got to understand. A lot of the big chain pet stores do not produce the animals that they sell. So when you go in there and you're asking an employee for any care tips, most of the time they don't know. And it's not their fault they don't know, but they don't raise these animals for a living. When you buy directly from a breeder, you're buying from someone whose very livelihood depends on them being able to produce good, healthy animals for sale. If they don't produce good animals and their stock's not healthy, they're not going to stay in business very long. They're not going to make a living. Probably the second best option, I would say, is to go to a local private-owned pet store that specializes in reptiles. I know we have one here in our town, as well as there's one down in Jacksonville, Florida, that we really were impressed with when we went to Extreme Exotics. Those type of pet stores, we tell people, by all means support. One thing I don't want to do on this channel is get into politics, but I will tell you this. When it comes to supporting small businesses, I try to do that as often as I can. And the reason is because when I buy from a large corporate business, any big chain stores. Most of the time, that profit's going to buy some very wealthy CEO a third holiday home or another sports car or something like that. When I go to support a small private-owned business, my money is going to put food on his table, to put medicine in his cabinet, and to take care of his children. So whenever possible, my personal feeling is I like to support small local businesses and private-owned, and just help out that way.
Last question is Ronnie and Philbilly the same person or two different people?
Let's go ask Philbilly.
Hey Philbilly, we've got some people wrote in. They want to know if me and you are two separate people or the same. You have got to be kidding me. Y'all think I look anything like this guy? I mean, look at him compared to all this. Come on, let's just be honest now. If we're comparing apples to apples, my hiney would make him a Sunday go to church face. When he cries, the tears go over the top of his forehead so they don't have to cross his ugly face. He's so ugly you gotta tie a bow around his neck to get the daggum dog to lick him. Y'all need some glasses.
Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it.
By the way, if you guys like your early morning coffee as much as I do, you want to check out this Cold Blood Creations coffee cup. It's got our logo as well as a couple really cool snakes that we've produced over the years. You can get this as well as other coffee cups and some really other cool merchandise down on the merch shelf below. If you get a chance, go over to Facebook, like the Cold Blood Creations page. Also be sure to check out Philbilly's page because he needs a few more fans over there. And we'll see you guys in our next video. Peace.
Peace. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you...
What did you...
What the heck?
What happened?
That's tasty. Alright, let's do this and go get dignified. What was the question? Oh, it was the outro.
That was the question.
What am I supposed to say?
I don't know, that's the thing about outros. I don't know what to say when it comes. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Cut!
Today's video is our first video of 2020, and we did 21.
What year is it?
Happy New Year.
Let's try that again.